awesome, because I can see you guys are really doing well, especially in the areas of digital transformation. I could say that.
Thank you so much.
OGTV, you know.
Okay, so we'd like you to, because we also have to talk a bit about your sojourn abroad. You know, there was a time we read something about you, about your exploits in cybersecurity and all that. Time will not really permit us to do that. But quickly, you know, Nigerians want to understand cybersecurity and cybercrime. Break it down for us.
Okay, that's so good. Before the advent of cybersecurity, we used to have IT security. We all know IT is just the way of doing information. I mean, businesses enabling it using information technology. But over time, we metamorphosed to security. And cybersecurity, in a simple term, only means the protection of information assets, you know, through the use of internet, the network, and as well as our data. So that is a cyber security, prevention of those things against unauthorized access. Okay. Cyber security in its own sense just simply means, you know, implementing effective control that cannot be circumvented through the unauthorized access. You know, and there's what we call a CIA triad. Okay, that is a protection of the confidentiality, integrity of your data, and the availability of those resources, making sure the resources are available to those that are authorized to use it. So prevention of all those things are called cyber security.
Okay, now we know this is something that is it's a no-brainer in advanced countries, you know, Europe and the Americas and all that. But for us here in Nigeria, if you mention cyber security, people are likely to say, what do you mean? Because first and foremost, too, the issue of us having national data is a big one. So a country that doesn't even have national data, you can't just press a button and you get the particulars of, for instance, Abeokuta, the day he was born, where he was born, the hospital he was born, you know, and all that. You can't even get all of that. So why why do we have to go this way if we don't even have a national data system?
Yeah, you see, having a national data system is quite different from having a holistic approach to cyber security, okay? I think the government is on the right path right now, trying to implement the NIN, which of course many other countries has it, like in UK we call it National Insurance, NI, and in Canada we call it a social insurance number, and in the US we call it social security number, which is a unique identification that ties to, you know, a subject that is a human being. So that is just about the privacy and personally identifiable information. But when we're talking about cybersecurity generally, it encompasses so many things, all right? So we have phones, we have, you know, internet and so many other things. We have any other, you know, asset, not only personally identifiable information, but we have many other assets. Within OGTV here, you have your own asset. You know, we have you know, privacy data as well. Then we have some other thing that can enable your businesses. So all those things still need to be secure. However, not having a national data, I think it's a process. Okay, it's just going to happen in a day. Good enough. I happen to be one of the you know, the subject matter experts, you know, developing the National Cybersecurity Strategy. I was invited by the NCS, Nigeria Computer Society, you know, and many other people in diaspora. So we could see Nigeria government, they are actually on the right path. But when we get there, because I just want to believe it's just said about the implementation, and it's not going to happen in a day. It's going to be a process, step-by-step process.
Okay, cyber criminals, you know, are largely within, you know, that when you get to when you open your phone right now, you ask information about Nigeria. Largely, one person is complaining about how information has been tampered with, and of course, access. I have a lot of friends that can't even use their WhatsApp right now because somebody has hacked into it, trying to use their identity to get money from other people. So how do you how do you assess, largely now Nigerian cyber space, and with respect to the kind of policing that should take place in securing, in deterring the criminals from having access?
Okay, so before I get there, let me quickly define what cybercrime is. Okay, cybercrime is the activity that anybody, like a criminal activity that encompasses the usage of computer. We can use computer as a subject of an attack and also as an object of an attack. So using the computer to to perpetrate that kind of activity is a cybercrime. So for different motives anyway, that's what we call MO. That is a motive, opportunity, and means. Okay, mostly they're for financial gain. Okay, it can even be for political agenda. So mostly for financial gain, they can steal your identity. That is identity theft. Yes. This one still boils down to individual awareness. Okay, there is no absolute protection or security. Okay, so and there's no way you can totally eliminate risk. The risk will still be existing, but we can only reduce or mitigate that risk to an acceptable level. So I think we still have a lot of things to do. So yes, it is because of the awareness, lack of awareness here. And if you consider Nigeria, let me start from the African continent. We are just moving towards adoption, serious adoption of the internet. But we lack cybersecurity infrastructure. Okay. Similarly, in Nigeria, we lack the cybersecurity infrastructure because there should be a kind of a coordinated effort from the federal government, the state government, and as well as individual, the government, the private sector, the civil societies, and academia. Okay, they need to bring the awareness to people. The public awareness has to be there. We could see a lot of things that has been shared on social media, like a WhatsApp, talking about how you can protect yourself. So I think the awareness is the key thing, because we do have insider threats as well. There's no amount of technology that can have that can actually give you that robust security that you need. But awareness.
So part of the things that people in diaspora talk about when Nigeria or Africans are mentioned is largely the issue of the identity theft that you said for financial gains. The hush puppies of these days, and they say that the spaces, our spaces, is condoling most of those people for them to do those things to foreigners at the end of the day. So how can we reduce such stereotype, and of course work on ourselves to not allow our space to be used as.
To be honest, I think the government has to do more. Okay, so there are a lot of regulations around cybercrime. In Nigeria, we have what we call Cybercrime Prevention and Prohibition Act of 2015. So similarly, at the international level, the global level, we have a Budapest Convention. Okay, the Budapest Convention, it encompasses so many nations, talking together, sharing intelligent information, working together, and criminalizing all those, unauthorized activities or nefarious activities. But on our side, from the government side in Nigeria here, the government needs to do more in the form of enforcement, report, testing. That is all we just lack here, because Nigeria is very free. We do a lot of things the way we see it. But to my surprise, there was a time I was trying to look at some of the frameworks, the standards that we use out there, and I contacted some SMEs, the subject matter experts here, and to my surprise, we have all those things.
Okay.
But they are not well implemented or enforced. Okay, so when there are no oversight functions on things, you see that kind of a thing happening. Unfortunately, because our governments are still not doing well enough, but I just believe we are on the right path. But there, and that is the reason why they could be caught. Okay, the hush puppy and the likes, they were caught eventually. The government may be monitoring them, watching them. That's what we call APT, Advanced Persistent Threat. Advanced persistent threat is a kind of a process. They can be watching you, seeing how you go to work, what time do you go to work, which path do you take to work, where do you sit to take your lunch, okay, the time you go to bed, before they hit you, they attack you. It's just a way of studying the target, all right? So the adversaries, they use that tactics. Similarly, the government uses the same thing. So United States government, like FBI, they use the same APT to study their tactics, their move, design, what's it called, the pattern before the strike. So in the case of Hush Puppy, that is just the process the government has taken, the Interpol.
So part of what you said with respect to how these people operate for the different reasons why they do it, we could see in elections. Nigeria has been battling with the conversation around electronic transmission of results or electronic voting itself, largely because we do not trust the space that we operate in. The cyber threats are still there for Nigeria, and they look at America, almighty America, the issue of Trump and Hillary Clinton, they're talking about how that was affected. There were reports that it was manipulated, votes were diverted and all of those things. So if we have to move forward in our own, electronically now, or let's say election-wise, to better the process for us, do you think, going to electronic voting would not really mean something terrible for us if we do not take care of the infrastructure you've mentioned?
Like I said earlier, it's all about, awareness, okay? There are no amount of a manual, security that you can use that can surpass the, automated, security, like a cybersecurity. Okay, so we're talking about electronic voting. People just need to understand that this is very, very, sustainable, and it's very good. Okay, it's going to cost less in the terms of, the workload and the way we do things. So we have so many technology that can enhance that. So we're talking about the blockchain. Immutability characteristics of blockchain is there. Okay, people just need to understand, because in Nigeria, we tend to be experts on what we really don't know about. Okay? So when you see many people, they'll be talking about, they have hacked the system. They actually know nothing about it. Okay? Because they cannot present the evidence that this thing was actually hacked. Okay, we monitored the news right there when I was there during the election, and these people are saying they are not hacked. They have the evidence that this thing are not hacked, but because of the impression or the lack of trust that our people have about the cybersecurity or our system, they think, okay, it is not trustworthy. But now, if the technology that is automated is not trustworthy, how can we trust manual process? It's not possible. It doesn't make any sense. And that is the reason why I said to you, there is no absolute system. Okay, there is no risk elimination. You can't say because you want to avoid a car being crashed, you're not going to take a car, or flight being crashed. How about a Wigway just got crashed? Many people have taken flight.
Exactly.
So we just need to do what we need to do. However, there could be some lesson learned. We just need to improve. Let me tell you, the adversary, they are studying you to know your weaknesses. That is vulnerability. We have vulnerabilities everywhere. We have social vulnerabilities. So they are there to study that vulnerability and take advantage of it. All right? So we just need to learn from it. If we do the electronic voting this time around and we could see some flaws, we just need to improve on it. That is how America is doing its own business too.
Okay, now, I mean, it's good that coming from you, Nigeria is on the right path. It means there's light at the end of the tunnel for us. Like, I mean, okay, now, but it's also risky to say in so number of years Nigeria will get there. Is it just an evolution, or we can actually say in 10 years Nigeria will get there, or it's just an evolution?
To be honest, I cannot predict how long it's going to take us to get there. But with what I'm seeing right now, I think we are still on the right path, because there was a time I came home and I was asked to register my SIM card, bringing my personally identified information, my date of birth and all those stuff. And I thought they were asking for too much. So it was in I think Abeokuta Deco in VI, and I asked the young lady, where do you keep all this information? Because I got so skeptical about my information. Where do you keep my information? I said, the lady felt so uncomfortable. So she has to call her boss. And the boss came and said, where do you keep my information? And the guy was pointing to the top where? you know, but now I could see the awareness. So now I just lectured the lady. I said, look, this is the way you can gain the confidence of your customers, okay? We have so many standards in cybersecurity. If you have gone through those standards and you are issued a certificate, just frame the certificate, put it there. There's ISO 27001, okay? It's going to tell us what you have done in implementing information security. It's called ISMS, Information Security Management System. They will issue you the certificate upon the completion of your security assessment, okay? And you can just hang it there. If I ask you a question, you can point to it, because I know for an independent assessor to have assessed you, especially the big fours, the KPMG, Deloitte, PwC, and EY, to have audited you and put that certificate for you, you know, it's just like the big four is standing in the middle, in the gap for you, that, okay, you must have gone through the rigorous assessment. Then you can gain my confidence that, okay, these people, they are doing their business according to the best practices.
Okay, so what you needed was just the evidence.
Correct.
From. Okay, now let's talk about, because we're closing gradually, let's talk about you and the other Nigerians that are in the diaspora that are doing things like this. I guess you can't actually count the number of Nigerians that are in cybersecurity, business all over the world. Tell us how strong the presence of Nigerians abroad doing this.
I think I can confidently tell you that Nigerians are really doing very well. We are just among the top listers. We are always on top, okay? We are always on top, and you know, because of our systems here, yeah, to come on top, you must have gone through the thick and thin. We don't have the enabling environment here before we left. So when you are in an enabling environment up there, I mean, everything will just be thriving, okay? So I have many students out there who just came from Nigeria, but they only just needed a kind of a mentorship. Just give them a little mentorship, and you see them thriving. That said, we have some other people that are ready to just, cut the corners, just like we used to do. But we can easily identify them, and we used to tell them, you may not be able to succeed here. You just need to take the right channel, invest more in, capacity building, develop yourself, and you get everything you need.
Our universities, what do you think we're doing enough to supply the demands of what it means to secure our own cyberspace in Nigeria, looking at what we have in our universities?
Definitely we have to, because that is the reason why I said we need collaboration between the government, the academia, the private sector, and the civil society, okay? We need to be sharing threat intelligent information. If you are hacked or something happened to OGTV, you should be able to report. Tell them the tactics, let them know the pattern, so they'll be able to broadcast. And that is what we have in the CISA in the United States. That's the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. And similarly, we need to coordinate on incident response, and there should be public awareness as well. So
what is your message to our people? Because largely you talk about WhatsApp, you talk about Facebook being hacked, we talk about accounts in banks being hacked, monies being siphoned and all of those things. So what will be your message to everybody?
Okay, my message to them is just to implement very good cyber hygiene, okay? Implementing very strong password, enabling your multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication, and make sure you update your software on your devices, and then make sure you always track all the activities, because in real-time tracking of activities, let me reiterate, real-time tracking of activities, update the software on your devices, implement very strong password, and implement multi-factor authentication.
Dr. Teju, would like you to go now, but we won't allow you if you, without asking you, what are you also bringing back to your... I know you grew up in Abeokuta, Etoko area. I'm trying to expose you now. You have also become a community person because you also took part in the 37 Lishabi Festival.
Correct. Yeah.
Now, tell us in 1-2 minutes before we close, what you are going to bring back to Egbaland, you know, in terms of education in this area you've chosen.
Yeah, I think we've started this a couple of time ago, and I think with the blessings from Kabiyesi Alake of Egbaland, about Dr. Adedotun Arembadibo Okokanudifo. So we've been trying to educate our people, we've been trying to empower them, especially at my homestead in Itoko. We're having an office, so to empower more people and telling them the story, changing the narrative of our community, letting them know that, okay, you can equally, get to wherever you need to go. You just need an awareness, you need education. Just 3 or 4 days ago, we saw a small guy that was sweeping when he's supposed to be in school. Yeah, we just asked what is going on. It was Balogun of Itoko that actually cited the young boy. So we took it up and we invited the mother, and the boy was admitted at Reverend Kuti. So we took over all the expenses. But it is just the lack of awareness. But we are bringing awareness to people what education can do for you. Even though I came from Itoko, where we believe so much in the Google and many other things. But yeah, like Yoruba did say, I
know where I came from.
Exactly.
Now we're trying to know that Dr. Tell you from Itoko. We must thank you so much for coming, and I wish you the best of luck. And certainly we also should be tapping a lot from your experience and from your knowledge in the days ahead. Because we know we are going back to your base very soon.
Correct. Yep.
Simiat, time to go.
All right, thank you for being a part of NEWDAWN today. Next week will be another time on the program. Don't forget to watch Otuojo tomorrow, and of course NEWDAWN will be back on Wednesday and Friday. Otuojo on Thursday again. Thank you, and keep watching The People's Daily. Bye for now.